In the 2005 movie 13 Going on 30, Jennifer Garner expertly plays a teenage girl who suddenly jumps forward into adulthood thanks to a magical story device that is never quite explained, and then she can only change things back by accomplishing a certain magic task that she never quite knows about. Okay, aside from those critical flaws to its central conflict, I promise this movie is actually pretty good. For example, I love a slumber party musical number and any candy that satisfies my compulsion to rapidly chew through an entire pack of gum like a hamster. Those are also exhibits A and B that I felt lonely and excluded a lot as a child. So let's heal those childhood scars by revisiting a classic early thousands rom-com with adult humor that I could have sworn was more kid-friendly at the time, story elements and plot points that seem to disappear without explanation, and the overall implication that single women are conniving and manipulative to one another, until they can open their eyes to see the nice man that has been waiting all along to change that about them. Wow, I just don't want people to be able to enjoy anything anymore, do I? I said I liked the razzles, so join me for another good movie that is still sort of bad installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies, TV movies, and other such content here on the web, and we snap it into pieces like a bite-sized clips to see if it's gum or if it's candy, or somehow both. This is one of those movies, the first time that I rewatched it for this video, I was like, oh, this movie is like almost perfect. There's not a lot to say. And then I started like really thinking about it and I was like, oh. But before we get into it, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, click subscribe, look at my merch. Oh, I'm not wearing merch. Pretend there's a logo on this t-shirt and then buy it. I love Razzles now. I'm a new Razzles stan, and you'll see why as we get into it. But first, let's start watching this movie. Now, I gotta say, the beginning of this movie seems to be where the most reshoots happened, and I feel like they retooled the movie a lot in the beginning and ending scenes where we see the main character, played by Jennifer Garner, as a child. By the way, I'm saying Garner there. It sounds like Gardner when I say it. I don't know why. Anyway, the little girl scenes are the worst. Sorry. It starts with her like getting her school picture, and she doesn't like it. She looks bad in it.
Hey, Jenna.
Ugh, a surprise 7 a.m. selfie. You just know this kid grows up to be one of those dudes who asks the women he works with for a hug every morning. That's creepy, sir. It's another opening shift at Starbucks. We don't need to commemorate the event with some sort of physical interaction where you embrace the people with boobs. They might have let that slide at the holiday party. Why do you have to push it? That's Jenny. I'm gonna call her Jenny, but her name's Jenna. Jenna's favorite friend, or best friend is what people say. Jenna's best friend, Matt, the younger version of Mark Ruffalo. And then they're approached by the 6 chicks who are the cool girls of the school.
So how'd yours come out, Rink? Not so good.
Yeah, mine aren't so hot either.
Nuh-uh, Tom, yours are great.
Yours are the best.
I'm actually surprised that of all of the people who just spoke in this scene, it's young Brie Larson who goes on to become an A-lister. And not the, yours are the best girl, who I like to call, you're the best Bethany. DJ Khaled, you're the best Bethany. The head of the 6 chicks, her name is Lucy, but they call her Tom Tom. She plays the younger version of Judy Greer. The younger versions of both Judy Greer and Jennifer Garner are, I think, spot on with their looks and mannerisms, but they made the kid who's playing young Mark Ruffalo look like he's wearing a Halloween costume of Sport from Harriet the Spy. Again, this is one of those movies where I feel like the art direction is so solid, the writing is really good, and the acting makes it all feel very real. So that's why this like flash forward in time back in the 80s thing really slowed down the movie for me. The movie starts with Jenna getting her picture taken, and then flash forward from there to her getting the picture. Like, I don't know, it was a lot. I think it slowed down the start. We could have not seen her having the picture taken and maybe just shown her like getting in line to receive her picture, and then Matt joins her and the other 6 girls get in line behind and they're like, look, our pictures are great. I just wanted it to start a little faster. I was like, why did we spend 30 minutes watching her get her picture taken and then picking it up? We also get a taste for how manipulative Lucy is because she says, Jenna, I would love to come to your party. because it's Jenna's 13th birthday, duh. But we have to write this report, so we can't. So Jenna offers to do their group report because apparently papers are something you do as a group. Matt is like, oh my God, they're not your friends, blah, blah, blah. But Jenna really wants to be popular.
Want some razzles?
Razzles are for kids.
Exactly.
That's gonna be me and you taking our cyanide capsules together when the robots start uprising. I can barely even function now, and I'm only metaphorically enslaved by technology. I'm pretty sure Mark Zuckerberg knows what my asshole looks like at this point. Speaking of corporate overlords, I did get on Amazon and order a 6-pack of Razzles for this video, and I did eat 5 of those packages yesterday before noon, so it's a surprisingly delicious candy. My stomach has a grapefruit-sized ball of chewing gum base in it right now, but that ingredient is made from tree sap, so plant-based. My favorite flavors are the blue ones, the red ones, and then when you like put a bunch of them in your mouth at the same time. Jenna is jamming out in her room to Rick Springfield, getting painted for the party. And of course it's embarrassing when her mom breaks in and starts, you know, making her feel infantilized. Jenna is excited to grow up because her favorite magazine, Poise, tells her that's when life begins.
30, flirty, and thriving. Why the 30s are the best years of your life.
As someone who is currently 30, I agree with this headline. I am both flirty and thriving. But the model's facial expression and hair are reading more as failure to thrive to me right now. She looks like her husband recently passed away and everyone just left that weird post-funeral potluck that people for some reason choose to host in their own homes. We can talk about the good times with Gerald just as much at the Cheesecake Factory, and I'll have a lovely time not cleaning up those dishes, thank you. And one more thing, for some reason. Whenever I look at this model's hairstyle, all I can see is a miniature farmhouse and a windmill. Sorry, sometimes I'm such an artist that I guess I'm just constantly composing Renaissance paintings in my mind. It's really lonely because I'm such a genius. For those of you reading along in the captions, please accept the following small dance as a tone indicator for my sarcasm. Sarcasm! Wow, okay, apparently I have a lot to say about this one magazine article, but eagle-eyed IMDb trivia readers will understand that the room featured in this photograph will also be the one that adult Jenna lives in New York in just a few scenes. That's right, this movie takes us to Manhattan. Broadway, honey roasted peanuts. I hit my head on a fire escape there really hard once and I think it gave me chlamydia. That's how it works. Before the party, Matt comes over and gives Jenna her birthday gift.
See, that's you in your bubble bath reading your favorite magazine. There's that bum Rick Springfield loafing on the couch. And there I am to make sure the creep keeps his hands to himself.
I want to know what kind of feathery-haired, f***ed-up family system this kid comes from that he has such a pronounced white knight complex at the age of 12 3/4. Matt had to go through the trouble of taking several full-length photos of himself pointing sternly, bring the film to get developed, and then later cut up the best-looking print. I get it, movie, you're showing that he's creative, but it's also weird that he put the most amount of effort into the element of that gift that forces him into the home as a dominating presence, dressed like literal John Goodman as the mean dad in a sitcom. What is that trope, by the way? Emotionally distant dads on sitcoms. Have you ever seen the way Everybody Loves Raymond interacts with his kids? I mean, like, I get it, I hate them too, but putting a hands-off, ego-driven father on TV for all of these years is why family annihilators exist. I just know it. I don't need science for that fact. I feel it. Ooh.
Swishing dust knows what's in your heart of hearts. It'll make all your dreams come true.
Mama, that's glitter, repackaged in a Pop Rocks envelope. Don't make that the grand finale of your big homemade dollhouse that you present to her. Even a 13-year-old should know that that probably won't work. And as much as I love how well the rest of this movie is crafted, I did spend the rest of this viewing just a little more aware of how the story depends on a young man that comes in and sprinkles literal magic fairy dust onto Jenna's dreams in order to make them come true in her future. And then, spoiler alert, at the end, she discovers that her ultimate life's destiny was to get married. Some people might be saying, so what, Nick, is every romance movie that ends in heterosexual marriage somehow sexist? And to those people, I would respond, just perhaps, cargo shorts. What the f*** are you gonna do about it? Don't come on my page with that hostile tone. I can smell the underside of your fingernails from here. Not in my church. If it's my YouTube, I'm the Jesus of my own YouTube videos, okay? Vatican, sponsor me. I know this is nitpicking, but I don't even like that that fake looking tear they cut into the glitter envelope. I prefer the more commercial way of styling open packaging, which is just a single straight cut across, a la a Skittles or Gushers commercial. I think it's less distracting. Some art assistant spent way too much time on set crafting that coast of California into it. Just rip it. Also, I noticed some very interesting differences between the theatrical release of this scene and the version that was shown in the trailer. Here's my side-by-side comparison of where Matt gives Jenny the dream house.
13th birthday.
Oh, Maddie.
Wish dust.
Okay, just minor changes. Not to worry, everybody. Matt still has his terrible wishing dust, which he says he bought out of a comic book, and then it somehow actually works and is never explained. I feel like it's because other time jump movies, such as Big, starring Tom Hanks, never explained the central magic. And according to director Gary Winnick, Big inspired several scenes in this movie, to the point where in one scene he publicly admits he wishes he had come up with a more original idea. The bedroom scene that we saw before this was also different in the trailer.
Hey, sweetie.
Don't you knock?
Are you wearing a bra? Are you wearing a bra?
Go away.
So as you can see, between the trailer and the theatrical release, the costumes and sets were tweaked, and the action is slightly changed to include Jenna singing along to Rick Springfield's Jessie Girl. Jecka Girl. Also in the trailer, the child actors look about a full school grade younger, and they gave Matt's hair a blowout. Fab. At first I thought this might have been reshoots for some reason, maybe to include that music, but then upon reading the IMDb page, it mentioned how they screen tested several other kids for these roles and then chose the best ones. And because the kids look so much younger and a lot of the set seems lower budget, the hair and makeup look less detailed, I assume that these are pieces of footage of those screen tests that were for some reason more readily available by the time they needed to have the trailer ready to go. I just think it's really interesting to see how things kind of change between the screen test and what we get on camera. Also, it brings up this whole thing that people have to worry about when they're casting children. It's like, if you're casting a 12 to 13-year-old to be in your movie, you need to find them when they're 10 to 11, because it takes like 8 to 12 months of pre-production after casting them before you're even ready to get on set. And kids look a lot different over a year, so it's like, look how young that little girl looks compared to when she's actually shooting the real movie. Jennifer Garner really loved this actress playing young version of her, because she had her come back on to play a similar role in Ghosts of Girlfriends Past. Okay, so all the cool kids arrive at Jenna's party, so she shoves the dollhouse into the closet, and while Matt's out getting his keyboard to play a song for her, the cool girls like Lucy are like, oh, this guy you like wants to kiss you, so go wait in the closet for 7 minutes in heaven. And then they all go to ditch her as she's in the closet, and they tell Matt on the way out like, oh, she's waiting to kiss you in there. So he goes in there, she gets, all confused when she takes off her blindfold and sees that it's, basically she's been tricked, and she starts to have a meltdown.
I hate you. I hate me. I hate everybody. I want to be 30.
Just let me play you this song, okay? It'll make you feel better.
I want to be 30.
Wow, she really wants to grow up, and that makes her the anti-Toys R Us kid. And of course, Matt is that guy who's like, oh, you're having the worst day of your life? I'm gonna go ahead and add my amateur music skills to that. He starts playing the guitar while she's legit freaking out. I guess I can accept that Matt's music playing sent Jenna running back into the closet as opposed to up to her bedroom, which is where most teenagers would retreat to. But I still can't figure out why she puts the blindfold back on in the closet. Getting in the fetal position and rocking violently back and forth is usually enough to help me through a birthday panic attack. So, blindfolded and thrashing, she knocks some of the fairy dust from the dollhouse roof onto her head. And that's when she wakes up and ta-da! She's in a strange new apartment, and we see that she's now played by Jennifer Garner. The way she's looking in the mirror is inspired by Big, and the director is like, yeah, that's boring. I agree. Also, there's some guy in her shower, so she's scared.
naked.
Well, not yet.
Oh, I forgot to mention that despite its almost tween-friendly marketing, this movie carries a very hard PG-13 for coarse language and this boyfriend who is always swinging his dick in your face. Every scene this guy is in, he basically takes off his clothes and is like, the more you seem terrified and disgusted by sex, the more I'm gonna try and fuck you. It's like, oh my god, out of everybody in the entire movie, why is he the one person Jenna doesn't try to tell that she's a magic 13-year-old? Jenna just grabs her stuff and runs out of the apartment, basically terrified because she doesn't know what's happening. And when she gets downstairs, she has a cab waiting for her with Judy Greer, aka Lucy. And they're suddenly just on their way to work, and Jenna is just like, apparently full face of makeup ready for work, even though we just saw her take off her eye mask.
Please listen to me. I'm 13. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna tell you what to do. Repeat after me. I am Jenna Rank, Big Time Magazine editor.
Oh, thank God. This was the perfect timing for an expositional pep talk. Although I do hope the people that I'm close to are a little quicker to realize something's wrong if I wake up one day and have no memory of the last 17 years. This poor woman might have fallen and hit her head in the shower last night, and all of her friends are like, oh, will you stop slurring your words and vomiting so much? We have a presentation in 10 minutes. This is no time for your jokes, your concussion jokes. So Jenna has to fake her way through this meeting at Poise magazine where she discovers she works. So she's got her dream job. But the boss, played by Andy Serkis, is not happy with the direction of the magazine because Sparkle, their competitor, is always getting the scoop on their stories. So there's like a mole in the office. Jenna, meanwhile, is like, I gotta find Matt to help figure out what's going on here. And in her office, she starts to get a sense of what her life is like now.
It's a naked guy.
Oh, I think we just pinpointed the day that Jenna started repressing all those memories. This picture looks like Rudy Giuliani is being escorted out of the wax museum for groping that statue of Jennifer Garner. Again, I'm saying Garner, not Gardner. See, I have what scientists call a very gay spitty mouth, so I can't account for every syllable that makes it into this microphone. But yeah, they actually spell her name at the beginning of this movie. You think me and my gay spitty voice don't know a D when we see one? Mama, I can spot it from nautical miles away. Nautical miles away. So from the assistant, Jenna gets the info on where Matt is, so she's able to like get her way into his apartment, even though it becomes clear that they haven't spoken in a long time.
I can't remember my life. You need to help me remember my life.
I can't do that.
Why not?
I don't know anything about you. All right, I haven't seen you since high school.
Okay, but have you at least heard about people forgetting large portions of their life when they have brain tumors? I think you can at least help your mentally distressed childhood crush find some medical care. Don't send a confused, vulnerable woman with the mind of a child out onto the streets. You're just jealous because she looks her age while you turned 40 for your 30th birthday. Whatever, I'm sure that rapid aging wasn't caused by eating Razzles. Even though when I scan this QR code on the back, it says something about being a bioengineered food. Bioengineered has to mean safe. That's the same technology that made RoboCop. First it's candy, then it's RoboCop. So Matt's like, the least I can do is get you back to your apartment. I'm officially out of Razzles. And right off the bat, you can see Matt is like, oh my God, she's really pulling me in with these childhood memories.
Arrivederci.
Au revoir.
Sorry, sir, you'll have to take the freight elevator because we can't seem to gather all of your huge pants into this one, made for us regular non-clowning individuals. Jenna does her hair and makeup, which, you know, is supposed to look a little more 80s, I guess, even though, like, she puts on this frosted blue violet eyeshadow and tons of blush, and then she walks out of the house and doesn't have any of that on. It's like normal thousands makeup. Also, she seems to dress like sort of 90s, even though she would have been unexisted through all of the, like, she shouldn't remember any of the 90s. I would have liked if they made her a little more 80s fashion, but they had to make her look fashionable and the makeup look good by 2005 standards, which, you know. Anyway, this is an iconic scene where she gets into an elevator with a real 13-year-old.
Why are you talking to me?
Why not? We are neighbors, right?
But you usually ignore me.
Well, Becky, based on that outfit, it's probably because your Republican parents give her the same judgmental eye roll when they see her walking around with exposed arms. They can't stand anyone in their building who dresses without the modesty required of those who follow Christ. Although, just saying, I've literally never seen him wearing anything but a scrap of fabric. And Jesus would probably think butterfly clips are cool because he loves nature. Oh, right, so Jenna knows somehow that she has a work party that night, and she had told Matt about it. She's like, oh, meet me at the party. It's gonna be so fun. Wall Street. So then she gets in a limo. So they're trying to show that she's living her adult fantasy. It's kind of like that part in Home Alone where he's like, my parents are gone and I can eat ice cream. Like every movie where it's like, oh, I jumped ahead or something. It's basically a montage where they get to go shopping and enjoy all of these, you know, adult privileges that they thought would be so fun as a kid. I was so distracted by those visible production assistants and the tourists waving at the camera, I almost forgot to point out that this movie's NYC geography doesn't make any sense, which is the type of thing in movies that any New Yorker, past or present, has the right to be annoying about. Jenna is traveling from her apartment on 12th Street to a party on Wall Street, meaning she just drove about 30 blocks in the wrong direction to turn around in Times Square. I always had good luck using my fake ID at that TGI Fridays, by the way. Not always with having my credit card accepted though, so it's a gamble. Jenna gets her first taste of alcohol at this party. That's illegal, okay? I'm just saying. Also, we get a feel for who the enemies at Sparkle seem to be.
Sparkle's editor-in-chief Trish Sack at 12 o'clock and headed our way.
Ugh, Trish is only jealous because our magazine is called Poise, and she just lumbered over here like the Bride of Frankenstein.
In your Herman Munster shoes.
By the way, has Lucy now just accepted that her best friend has no memory of anyone they work with and seems to have gotten a completely new personality overnight? Because now she's just explaining who everyone is without questioning it, like Jenna is the new kid in a movie about high schoolers. To its credit, I love movies that still are able to present things that aren't super logical like this without distracting because of good acting or directing. Judy Greer, Hollywood icon, makes all of that dialogue work by leaning into how self-absorbed and disinterested her character seems. So it's always like with a cocktail in hand where she's like, that's Jen Sackett, you know, the one who always blah, blah. It's like, okay, it fits with her character to the point where it's not like you're repeating who someone is again. However, I still think it would have been better if right off the bat, Lucy thinks that Jenna is having some sort of mental breakdown and kind of scares Jenna into not telling anyone about thinking she's 13 because she'll get fired and be homeless, and Jenna's like, huh. So it like motivates Jenna to keep this a secret. Because at first it would make sense for who we think Lucy is as this like concerned best friend, and then it also works for the twist if we find out that, spoiler alert, Lucy was secretly manipulating her and plotting for her to fail by not letting her get help for her mental breakdown as she thought. That's not what happens though. We still think Lucy's a good guy. And the boss tells them, is like, if we can't make this party happen, people are leaving, then we're all screwed. I'm not quite sure how that pans, but whatever. We did see at the beginning, Jenna was practicing her Thriller choreography, and she calls Matt onto the dance floor to help liven the party up. And guess what? It works.
Come on, Maddie.
All right.
I think those pills we bought in the Poise mailroom were legit because Carol from Brand Relations clearly just started rolling. This entire sequence causes my eyes to battle between Mark Ruffalo's genuine sense of discomfort with the dance steps and the freakishly surreal skill and bravado with which all of the other partygoers join in. I'm sorry, but the only part of this movie that never fails to make me laugh is that pants around the ankle crab walk they do. I think it's the fact that they have their hands on their knees while they do it. And the dancer on the left's hair wildly swinging into her face. They said, hey, that looks fun. Marching like Machamp from Pokemon. So everybody gets in and does the Thriller dance sequence, even though Michael Jackson is now canceled. This took a lot of rehearsal, blah, 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 behind the scenes. I love how the trivia is like, oh, this was Mark Ruffalo's least favorite scene. And I'm like, yeah, I can tell by looking at him. So Jenna decides, okay, if this isn't a dream and I really am 30 now, I'm gonna make the most of it. So she reads about magazine publishing. She's like updating her wardrobe. She's making everything feel more her. We're about halfway through the movie now, and I just want to point out that we still haven't heard anything about the type of person that Jenna used to be when she was, you know, in her 20s. We're still just getting a sense that, you know, she's getting a feel for what it's like to be 30 for the first time. And it leads to some funny moments.
I actually came over here because I think you're really cute.
So do you want to go out sometime?
What, do you want to go to jail? I meant that guy. No more daiquiris for you tonight.
Question for the audience. How many daiquiris does it take before your best friend starts hitting on children? Trick question. You shouldn't even be discussing numbers like that with your best friend. We all know that Jenna is a 13-year-old trapped in the body of a 30-year-old, but Lucy is just toxic for normalizing this type of behavior in someone she thinks is an adult. It just makes it all feel weird. And again, if they had used my idea where like if Lucy thought that Jenna was at least having a mental breakdown, making her think this, she would believe that's the reason why she was hitting on a child, not because she had so many daiquiris that she thought a 13-year-old was cute. It would make it easier for us as an audience to understand why Lucy is just accepting all of these troubling behaviors from Jenna, rather than just seeming to ignore it and be like, oh, you know, you don't remember anything, it's fine, I don't care. Oh, you wanna fuck a baby, I don't care, whatever, I don't care. I work at a magazine. Outside the restaurant, I guess New York City is really small in this movie because they're outside that bar and Jenna runs into Matt. And uh-oh, Matt's company.
Jenna, this is Wendy, my fiance.
I do the weather for WWEN in Chicago. Actually, Matt and I were just talking about him finally joining me in the Windy City.
Wow, Matt, you really found the perfect woman to play the old-timey wife of Charles Dickens in some historical play. No one good talks like that in real life. We were just talking about him finally joining me in the Windy City. Well, then you better grab your umbrella and blow the fuck back there, Mary Poppins, but we all know he's not gonna marry ya because you have supporting character face. Oh, also, perfect timing, Jenna's boyfriend, that blonde guy from the shower / a famous hockey player we now know, comes up. This feels like the point in the movie where we should start getting solid evidence that Jenna wasn't the person she would have hoped to be during her adult life. Although there really could have been like hints and mentions at what a bad person she was before this. Like if Jenna had used that assistant's full name and Lucy was like, since when do you know that person's name? Or she was like, I didn't know you liked animals. You gave that dog away that I gave you. Something like that, you know, like where Jenna could be like, I said that? I did that? But we don't get that until the 50-minute mark of this movie. So I felt like, oh, okay, sprung upon.
Sorry I'm late. Well, hi.
Should I go to his place?
Yeah, why not? Go play. You deserve it.
Play, I mean.
Is anyone else starting to get the feeling that Lucy might be a bad influence? I mean, she just took out a cigarette, didn't light it, and then put it back loosely in her purse a moment later. And that's the hardest drug that a person can do in PG-13 movies. I love stuff like that where it's like, oh, if I weren't looking at your hands really closely, I might have thought you smoked a cigarette just because I saw one, but she actually never lit it because that would change the rating. So Jenna goes back to the hockey player's apartment.
You wanna play a game? Do you have Battleship?
Yeah, I have Battleship. I'll show you my destroyer.
If this guy was saying that to me, it would be hot. If he's saying it to a woman, it triggers a discussion about how it's sexist for men to think that their penises destroy women during sex. But actually, in the movie, he's saying it to a 13-year-old girl. So I guess I'll just let the sentence die there so we can all sit in the discomforting quiet of it. She's like covering her face, obviously really shy and not ready to have sex. Why am I even talking about this? So weird. And then he's like, oh, that's right, I forgot. I owe you a raunchy striptease. And it's like, that's not something adults ever offer and then owe each other. Don't be lying to the kids now. Like, we see him in his underwear and I'm like, oh my God, I can see his genitals, like the shape of them. Is that okay? Is that what we meant for? Maybe it's a prosthetic, but even then, why? Why is that necessary? Oh boy, okay. So back at Poise magazine, their boss says, look, Sparkle magazine is killing us, so we have to do a full redesign. Jenna and Lucy, pitch us your ideas. So Jenna's like, okay, this is a great challenge. But then when she's in her office, this guy comes in.
Oh, you're married and to a girl I work with.
Didn't stop us from rattling some desk drawers loose last week.
Why would that have happened? Is your shaped like one of those Allen wrenches they include with IKEA furniture? Did you her at a right angle? This movie uses a lot of vague innuendos to describe lovemaking, but between this and the other guy's destroyer, they're making it sound like adult Jenna like to get beaten with hammers. They're like, what's the matter? Don't you remember the time I took you to Home Depot and used a belt sander to strip the varnish off that pussy? She's like, excuse me, sir. I was 29 back then. Now that I'm in my 30s, I shop at Lowe's. So the assistant is like, yeah, girl power when she kicks that cheating man out of her office, even though it's like, I mean, 2 weeks ago, she had sex with a married person. So it's not like we're like, you're a hero now. It's like, you're the same person. You just chose not to have an affair on this day. Anyway, it's supposed to be showing us how whatever kind of bad person Jenna was in her 30s that we're, I guess now supposed to believe, we're getting that she's having this transformation. She's being different now. I wish we could have gotten some sort of flashback or visual way of seeing Jenna be this like mean person, like some sort of home video. Maybe they show the company party where Jenna's being mean to one of the assistants, or sees footage of her firing the person last week that they talked about. That way I would be like, oh wow, it's like this marked difference seeing nice adult Jenna and mean adult Jenna, and like I would understand all of the work that she's trying to do, and no one at her office seems like super afraid of her. You know, I want them to be like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, and she's like, it's okay. So that's one area I think they could have strengthened this script that I foolishly called perfect at the beginning of this. Like, it just feels late to learn that Jenna sucks. I feel like we should have already known that by now at the 51-minute mark. In fact, it's not till here in the third act that Jenna even explicitly learned from Matt what happened in their lives after she was a child.
I still can't believe you're getting married.
2 weeks.
That seems a little premature since you said you don't even have solid plans to live in the same city with your fiance after that. But whatever, we saw that traumatic interaction he had with Jenny as a child. He's probably been pathologically looking for a similarly brunette wife for his entire life, while also plotting revenge against Rick Springfield. Or maybe Matt doesn't even remember that 13th birthday party at all. Let's see. Trigger warning sexual assault terminology.
I can pretty much peg it to your 13th birthday party. You were in the closet playing that game. What is it? Spin the Rapist.
I'm curious, did that joke get a lot of laughs at the table read? And of those, how many of them were nervous, confused giggles? That's a very dark joke to reach for, Matt. We didn't even let Lucy smoke her cigarette just now, but okay. So Matt says that after she came out of that closet all angry, she threw the dollhouse at him and, you know, ran out and never spoke to him again. And then she went on to be one of the leaders of the 6 Chicks. She was like one of the popular girls from then on. So that was sort of the turning point where apparently, I guess one event turned Jenna into a bad person forever. I guess that's how it works. I don't know. Again, this feels so late to me, but Jenna has this reckoning with Matt where she's like, I'm not a nice person. I'm learning and I have to fix that. I feel like this realization is at a good point, but I wanted a better build up throughout. And I'm actually really taken with this sequence where she gets on a train and goes back to her home, which I guess is in the New York City metro area. And she gets into that closet and gets into the fetal position and starts like wishing she could be 13 again. It's very sad because you get the feeling like she's at her emotional low point for the movie. And while she's in the closet, her parents come home and they're like, oh. By the way, she called her parents when this all happened and there was a voicemail being like, we're on a cruise. So she couldn't really reach out to them. I think it would have been a nice way to challenge the audience a little bit if she had lost one of her parents. And it's like just her mom who's home and she's like, where's dad? And they're like, you don't remember your dad dying? Actually, that sounds so sad. Why? I'm like, you know what would be great? Kill this bitch. No, it would be awesome if Razzies were poisoned by the great Razzie poisoner of Springfield, New Jersey, and they're all victims. What I like about this part of the movie is it kind of, you know, gives you the idea that even as an adult, sometimes you need your parents or your family or the people who are closest to you. And she goes back home and is kind of like soothed and nurtured and taken care of by them, which I think is sweet. And she also has a nice talk with her, the older version of her mother. And her mom is like, no, I wouldn't say that I regret anything. I wouldn't change any of my past mistakes because they all made me who I am. So that kind of inspires Jenna to go back through her old yearbooks, and she's like looking at all of the memories she missed when she was in high school, and even noticing how Matt has taken a lot of those pictures. Oh, and she also overhears Lucy talking about how she's planning a secret side presentation for the redesign, and she's gonna try to oust Jenna and take her job. So Jenna's like, great, I'm gonna do my own thing then. This is where things start to feel really rushed for me. Matt shows up to a park to meet Jenna with his cameras, and she's like, good news, we're doing this photo shoot that I've already planned without you having any time to prepare, which seems a little unrealistic to me. If you hired a photographer for a magazine shoot, I think they'd want to know some of the details other than just showing up with their cameras, but whatever. Jenna's idea is like this high school themed photo spread, basically, where she's like bringing up all of this 60s, 70s, 80s nostalgia. They love it. They love the idea though. And to me, I'm like, I don't understand. It's like, it seems like a lot of group photos with like I Spy type art direction, like disparate costumes and eras mixed together. But okay, if that's what Poise wants for their new look, who am I to stop them? I'm just the idiot who ate 800 calories worth of gum paste recently, so that's happening. So I guess Poise magazine is just paying for this entire redesign shoot before even agreeing to the new concept, or the boss even hearing the pitch. But it doesn't matter because Jenna and Matt have a great time throughout the week recreating nostalgic memories, showing real women, I guess. Do you mind getting out of the way, childlike woman? You're standing directly in front of this fan you hired us to use, and if it snags onto your hair, these models and their expensive wardrobes are going to be absolutely splattered with your entrails. She's really pushing it there. She's like, ah! I'm eating a lollipop. They're trying to really sell that Matt is like, oh my God, this woman knows how to have fun and make me laugh and feel like a kid again. When in reality, it's like, because she's acting like a child, maybe pull back on that. I don't know. Ladies, if you want men to like you, start acting deliriously manic pixie dream girl at all times, even at work. They're like taking class photos all the time. Every picture this magazine's gonna post now is a class photo, but they take a break to go get Razzies, no, Razzoles, I meant to say. And Jenna's like, Matt, did you know you're the sweetest guy I've ever known? And then they are on a swing set by the Brooklyn Bridge and they kiss. Uh-oh, Matt's getting married and they kissed on the sand. So later, Jenna is telling all of her new friends about this experience and they're like, oh.
Well, at least you have someone to dream about. Guys don't exactly want to jump your bones when you're a metal mouth.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I guess we know which of these girls comes from an HBO viewing household. I feel like 13-year-olds don't usually talk with adults about wanting to get nailed this often, but also random adults don't usually ask a bunch of 13-year-olds to sleep over at their apartment. So I guess this is just one of those unusual types of nights, huh? I wish that they could have had Jenna make this slumber party something for the magazine. Like if she wants to give a bunch of girls the most glam slumber party ever, and she notices like Becky is sort of a shy outcast like she was as a girl, so she invites a bunch of other shy meek girls over to like get the confidence and live their dreams and be in the magazine. I think that would have been fun, but instead, you know, all the parents are just like, oh, a childless woman in the building wants you and a bunch of other kids to sleep over. It's fine, it's fine. We're not at the point in the new millennium yet where we know that that could be a grooming tactic, I guess. I'm just saying. If an adult wants to have a slumber party with your child, they don't need to want that. They shouldn't want that. If I had to watch a child overnight, I would not do it. I would literally be like, someone else has to do it because I'm not gonna do it. So if someone is like volunteering to do that you don't even know, let's think about it twice. But that's not to say I don't love this love is a battlefield scene. We are young. That's what they sing. I'm not gonna treat you to the whole song. Heartache to heartache we send. All right, I guess I'll hum it a little bit. Okay. So Jenna is super excited about how all of the photos are coming out and she's getting ready to present them to her boss. And she's like ready to meet Matt after to discuss how it goes. Meanwhile, Matt is having a conversation with his fiance who is basically asking him if he'll move. Well, Jenna is running uptown to get the final prints of the photos because apparently the internet only exists in certain limited quantities for this movie. Lucy's back at the office presenting her idea for the redesign.
The new and improved Poise. It will go heroin chic, one better. It will OD.
Their magazine executive is like, my stepson did OD on heroin last year, so this does seem to be what the kids are into. The other funniest part of this movie, besides the Willy Waddle Pollywog walk, is how it looks like she's presenting the headline Hanging Baby via PowerPoint. So obviously Lucy's pitch comes off just a little intense. We're not gonna be hanging any babies, sweetheart. And then Jenna comes in looking sweet and cherub-like, ready to present her homecoming central idea.
Who are these women? I don't recognize any of them.
I want to see my best friend's big sister. The girls from the soccer team.
My next door neighbor.
Okay, but those are basically just the same thin fashion models in different hair and makeup, so nothing too earth-shattering. She said, it's time we show the world real women. So we put this swimsuit model in a 1950s car hop outfit, therefore solving sexism. Okay, I think you're just doing the show Grease, but whatever. Everyone at the audience loves it. They're like, she taped a balloon to a poster and had a 3-dimensional pom-pom. This is the stuff we pay her to have big ideas about. After everybody loves Jenna's idea, Lucy is on a jealous rampage and goes sneaking through Jenna's office, right as Matt's coming to meet her for dinner. Damn, Special Agent Hannah was really booking it. She must be tailing a suspect. Everybody, let her work. In Jenna's desk drawer, Lucy finds some letters from Trish, that enemy lady over at Sparkle. So Lucy makes a phone call, and then right as Matt comes up, she's like, oh, Jenna's not here. She went in another direction with the spread. She hired the photographer who does her boyfriend's pictures, so I guess she's just a little biased. And she says, but I would like to have you sign a release since you're here, so maybe we can use your pictures for a catalog. And Matt obviously looks really disappointed, and he's like, whatever, I'll sign. Meanwhile, Jenna is like happy as a clam, going to meet Matt, thinking that they're about to fall in love. Only this happens.
Well, tell him when he gets back, he's just not getting his tux.
His tux?
I know. Men. Everything's the last minute. I mean, hello, we're getting married tomorrow.
Oh, where's the reception? At the Exposition Gardens on Tell a Stranger Everything Lane? Wendy, the weather person, exists only to tell Jenna information about Matt. She said, in today's weather, temperatures will be mostly matte. The sun is matte, the sky is matte, and you bet, even the wind is matte here in the Windy City. Once again, I'm Wendy McNoname for MATT News. Jenna is super sad that Matt is actually getting married to Wendy, and then when she gets back to the office, her boss is like, the meeting is canceled. There's no redesign meeting anymore because Lucy f***ed us. They said she stole your idea for the redesign and sold it to our competitors at Sparkle and had Matt sign a photography release so that they could use his photos, and now they're already on the website and gonna be printed next month. When Jenna gets back in her office, Lucy is like, well, you're the one who's been selling our ideas to Sparkle magazine in exchange for a job over at their office. So Jenna realizes, oh my gosh, I'm the one who's been giving Sparkle the scoop on all of our stories. And Lucy's like, yep, but now I took your job and I ruined your relationship with Matt. Sorry. And you can really see through the costumes and the styling that we have officially accepted Lucy as the bad guy because she has those straight strands here. So Lucy, Jenna has to rush to the, this is getting a little tiresome. We're in the home stretch, friends. Jenna has to rush to Matt's wedding to try to clear things up because now Lucy has him thinking that she's some sort of backstabber, and on top of that, she kind of was before Jenna, 13-year-old Jenna, was conscious of the body. It's hard to describe this kind of thing. So she takes a cab up to the wedding, and her high school crush, who she was supposed to kiss as a child, is the driver of the cab, so we know he didn't make it too far in life. Judgmental. This is probably where you really see like the clearest example of Jennifer Garner's acting being one of the main drivers of what makes this movie so iconic and memorable. She's like crying at Matt getting ready for his backyard wedding, and she's like, oh, I'm just crying because I'm so happy for you. And she gets the dollhouse he made for her back, and she's like, can I please have it? I'm so happy for you. I'll always love you. And it's really heart-wrenching because she's really selling it. But she knows to to let Matt marry his love. So she goes off to her childhood home with this box and she's really sad. She's crying. And the wind picks up some of that wishing dust that's still on the roof after 17 years of being in a closet. I'm just surprised that this dollhouse didn't get thrown out after 17 years of Matt literally not caring about this person anymore. I feel like that wouldn't still be there, but whatever. The magical dust blows, and that was the secret thing that she needed to undo the whole spell. So then she wakes up and she's 13 again. Trolley-da.
Wow, you really know what you're doing.
You mean in terms of uncomfortably pressing her closed mouth against yours? Yeah, she learned that from seeing some guy's dick in her apartment once. Oh no, I guess they're saying she learned that because she kissed Matt on near the Brooklyn Bridge once. The other guy just sort of disappeared from the script without an actual conflict. So he added really very little to the overall script other than the alarmingly detailed outline of his penis in the underwear he was shown wearing. Another storyline that got dropped was that song on the keyboard that Matt was playing. He was like, I made this song, it's gonna make you feel better. And we never hear of the song again. I didn't even know Matt was like any sort of musician. And that's how it just like for the kids, and I think a lot of this came through with those reshoots they did as well, or the rewrites I would guess. Like Matt had too many things. He's like, I made you this house, I'm a photographer, and I play the keyboard. It's like, are you just every sort of creative fucking skill in the book? Jesus, Adobe Cloud over here. And then same with Jenna. She's like, I'm a nerd who does the cool girls homework for them, and then she also becomes the cool girl somehow, and then also she wants to be 30. It's like, do you want to be cool or do you want to be 30? What is your main goal? That's where I get lost with the kids, but I like the middle part.
Sorry, I forgot my scarf.
You know what? You can be the pot and kettle all by yourself from now on. Biatch.
That's a good start, Jenna, but you've just had an accurate vision of future cell phone technology and the internet. I'd be like, anyway, I'm gonna go invent the iPhone and open the world's first online store. And you can go die in obscurity, biatch. Only I'm talking to Matt this time because he's literally so annoying to me as a child. So Matt's like, where are we going? And she's like, you'll see. And then they run out the door as adults. So like, I thought that was kind of cute too. It's like, where are we going? Oh, we're just running into the rest of our lives together. Even though something about when people from childhood get married in adulthood, I don't like that. I'm like, ugh. I've changed so much since I was a child that I don't think I would still have anything in common with somebody who I happened to meet as a child. I mean, I guess statistically it has to happen. I just don't trust it. And I also don't trust this type of why is everyone getting married at their house? It's called a hotel. Should we try a take where they coordinate their head movements a little better? Nah, I think it's fine that he smashes his nose into her face like it's an airbag. That shattered septum is gonna heal up just fine if the on-set medic sets it in place real fast. And then Jenna and Matt get their dream home, which looks like the same color as the dream home that Matt made for her. And that's an example of good art direction. And that's also the end of the movie for 13 going on 30. Was this a favorite of yours? Were there any parts of this that stuck out to you from your memory that you didn't notice in the past? Let me know in the comments below. Also, give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see more movies from 2005, but most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so turn on those notifications if you want to be the first to know when I build you a Jenna's dream house of your own. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you for being 30, flirty, and thriving with me today. I will see you next time.